process
Well, see, but that's the thing.
for something else.
I
Double
am saying
victimizing.
It says here are some of the Texas laws that go into effect in 2023. Houston, several Texas laws will go into effect in 2023. The laws were passed and signed during the 87th Texas legislature and include changes to property taxes, building codes, and more. View the laws and their summaries below. Note that some of the laws listed below went into effect in 2021, but are included here because they have sections that will not take effect until 2023. Okay. House Bill 3774 amends the Civil Practice and Remedies Code, Code of Criminal Procedure, Estates Code, Family Code, Government Code, and Local Government Code. Among other provisions, the bill does the following. Creates 10 district courts, 5 statutory county courts, and 1 statutory probate court, and 1 criminal law magistrate court. Revises the jurisdiction of certain statutory county courts, grants the magistrates of certain counties jurisdiction in criminal actions, establishes the duties of certain districts and county attorneys, makes certain changes applicable to proceedings in a justice or municipal court or in juvenile justice and family courts, provides for public access to the state court document database if authorized by the Texas Supreme Court, revises procedures for the transfer of cases between courts, and provides for the development of standardized transfer certificate and an index of transfer documents form, provides for a code of professional responsibility to regulate the conduct of entities regulated by the Texas Forensic Science Commission, revises the commission's investigatory power, and authorizes the commission to use appropriate funds for the training and education of forensic analysis. Includes a Veterans County Service Office among the causes to which a juror may donate their daily reimbursement. Provides for the appointment of a judge or magistrate of a district or statutory county court to preside over a regional specialty court program under certain conditions. Authorizes a defendant participating in a veterans treatment court program to be transferred to another such program in a county adjacent to the county where they work or reside. Wow, this keeps going. Requires the Texas Supreme Court to adopt rules regarding exemptions from seizure of judgment debtors' property. Provides for the protective order registry to include protective orders for victims of sexual assault or abuse, stalking, or trafficking, and for the removal of certain vacated orders from the registry. Making certain changes regarding the regulation of court reporters. Extends the deadline by which the state's attorney must answer an application for or writ of habeas corpus filed after final conviction in felony case without the death penalty, and provide alternative methods for serving a copy of application for such a writ on the state's attorney in community supervision cases. Earlier, it was talking about more courts. That really sounds good because our courts are so congested. I think we have one of the most in the nation. Harris County, I want to say, processes more people than I think there's only 1 or 2 jurisdictions that do more in the nation. So, I mean, and all the money that we spend, people shouldn't be in jail just in processing, waiting to go to court because there's so many people that they're freaking sending through the same place, So I think they should have more courts. So hopefully that's what that means.
Yeah, because it's probably an overload to some extent. There's more crimes, I guess, supposedly that's or allegedly that is happening all over the country. So that's probably why they are opening more courts, because they really based on certain designated laws, 72 hours you have to, you can only you really should only be able to hold somebody up to 72 hours. There's people that end up
people for weeks and still haven't seen a judge.
Months. Yeah, you can say weeks, but
let me read some more.
Months. Yeah, go ahead.
The bill took office September 1st, 2021, except some sections which take effect in January 1st, 2023. Lowering property tax ceiling to reflect school district compressed rates. That's interesting. SB 1287 second CS amends the Education Code, Government Code, and Tax Code to provide for a reduction of the amount of limitation on the total amount of property taxes that may be imposed by a public school district on the residence homestead of an elderly or disabled individual to reflect any reduction from the preceding tax year in the district's maximum compressed tax rate. Among other provisions, the bill entitles the district that is not fully compensated through state aid or the calculation of excess local revenue as part of the foundation school program based on the determination of the district's taxable value of property to additional state aid in the amount necessary to fully compensate the district for property tax revenue lost during the reduction. That's interesting. So the whole thing with the property taxes going to the schools, and then they're saying residents homestead of an elderly or disabled individual to reflect the reduction, so they don't have to pay as much in their taxes if they're elderly or disabled.
Well,
That's fair.
you know what? I need to check something. Because actually in Louisiana, I know in Louisiana, unless they're changing it now, is that for property taxes, you're after the age 65, I believe, you're supposed to be exempt. You're not supposed to pay property taxes after 65. So
I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know about that because I remember Anaya's mom used to work for the Harris County Appraisal District, and mostly what people come in there and do is they come
tax
in
assessor's office.
Yeah, well, they come in there and they fight for their, they try to change what they have to pay for taxes by, because it's always like a little stuff like where a fence is, the appraisal value, all of this stuff, and you go in there and you fight to get, it down. And mostly these are old people in there doing this.
Well,
they're the only ones that really know about this stuff.
But see, and that's the thing, because you might be going in there if you're above the age of 65, because that's where you need to look at the law, how that works. Because after 65, you've paid enough taxes on that house. So and one of the benefits of becoming elderly is that you're supposed to have that type of relief period. But there's people who don't know that will go argue how much to pay when they shouldn't be paying anything at all. So that's the thing. Like, you got to know your where you stand in law, like your status. Like, it's not just African Americans and people that have been falsely status been changed, but also for just the fact that you get benefits based on all kinds of things. You just need to know about it. So, like I said, I know in Louisiana, unless they're changing it this year, you don't, because my mom is 70. Like, I believe me, I understand this thing. I know, because making sure that she doesn't have to keep paying taxes when she doesn't have to. You know what I'm saying? So
let me read this. It says hydrofluorocarbon refrigerants. SB 1210 amends the Texas Clean Air Act, Health and Safety Code to prohibit a building code or other requirement applicable to commercial or residential buildings or construction from prohibiting the use of a substitute refrigerant authorized pursuant to the Federal Clean Air Act. The bill takes effect January 1st. So let me try to understand this. So it said amends the Texas Clean Air Act, prohibiting.
It changes.
So it's saying that they don't have to adhere to the Clean Air Act, basically.
Well, probably to some of the provisions, because if you really think about
commercial and residential buildings construction.
Well, Now, all right, because that's pretty specific. So you really think about when because there's a lot of construction equipment that does not meet the standards and cannot meet the standards because they can't operate off of electricity, totally off of electricity. So you're still going to use you're still going to have to use regular what we've been using for the
Well,
last.
this shows how much Texas don't care about the environment. If I'm reading
That's
this
not true.
correctly.
That's not true. That's not true because the inability to do it, because see, if the processes was, if the infrastructure was strong enough to uphold it, and then they choose to do it, then that would show that they wouldn't care. But
No,
when
what? Fuck that.
What it
We can't
does,
breathe.
look, all this is doing is saying that a building code can't stop someone from using an alternate refrigerant authorized to the Federal Clean Air Act. It's saying that if it's okay with if it's within the Federal Clean Air Act, they can still use it. It stops the building code people from letting them use an alternative one that's still government approved.
Okay. So
Yeah,
then
it
that's
took
good.
about 5 reads through that to put that fucking together.
Yeah, my brain, the way they worded that really messed with my brain. Okay. All right. So then that's actually a good thing. Let's read this one. It says,
it allows the use of more than 1 or 2 refrigerants and stuff like that, as long as they fall within the Federal Clean Air Act. So basically, as long as the federal says it's okay, a building code can't say no.
Okay, that makes sense. Let me read this one. It says Water and Wastewater Special Districts. HB 3530, a continuation of the legislator's ongoing statutory revision program, non-substantively codifies a number of session law special districts into the Special District Local Laws Code. The codified districts include 1 levy improvement district, 1 municipal utility district, 2 river authorities, and 1 water control and improvement district. The bill takes effect April 1st, 2023. That sounds good too.
I have to wait till they get done.
Obviously, we need some work related to our freaking water infrastructure here in Texas.
Yeah, but that looks like it builds up the bureaucracy more than it builds up the infrastructure.
That's what happens all the time with these.
We now have we're now applying special teams to take care of these problems. We're going to split these districts off, give them to them, and here you go. Here's some political clout for you now.
And some
don't get caught.
And some checks to your private contractors.
Have fun. Don't get caught. Don't take any Epstein flights.
I thought I was a conspiracy theorist.
Let me read this one. It says Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, HB 1560, amends and repeals certain provisions of the Alcoholic Beverage Code, Code of Criminal Procedure, Education Code, Family Code, Government Code, Health and Safety Code, Human Resources Code, Occupations Code, and Transportation Code to provide for the continuation and functions of the Texas Commission of Licensing and Regulation and the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, TDLR. The bill continues TCLR and TDLR until September 1st, 2033. The bill, among other provisions, postpones the sunset review of certain programs transferred to TDLR until 2032 and 2033 review cycle. The bill revises provisions related to complaints received by TDLR, includes a provision requiring TDLR to post an additional statistical analysis of those complaints. The bill also requires TDLR to conduct risk-based inspections. In addition, the bill transfers certain duties related to continuing education programs from TCLR to TDLR. That was a bunch of
It
lingo.
Seems to be about transparency.
On for who?
Well, Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. So they're talking about, at the end, they said education programs too. So it's like anybody that needs these licensing.
Basically, they want to require them to post additional analysis of the complaint. Basically, they want to say, what are you doing about these complaints? What's your analysis on them? Not just, it seems to me like they're not reporting it.
So that must be the issue. Like they're withholding information. So it's forcing more
Well,
transparency.
not necessarily withholding information. I'm sure it's available if you ask or something. I mean, they can't technically keep it from you, but that doesn't mean it has to be easy to access.